These are the honest truths about being consistent that nobody's going to tell you. This is what you need to know in order for you to be successful within 30 days. This is what you need to do in order for you to start being consistent within 30 days from today or whenever you come across this video. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, High Guidance, and let's just get straight into it. Now, what you need to know, the first most important thing about being consistent is that it is a choice. It sounds simple, but common sense is not common. You are already consistent, which is the second thing. You're consistent when you go to work, you're consistent when you go to school, but when it comes to achieving goals, when it comes to you accomplishing things that you've never done before, that is where the lack of discipline stems from. That is where the doubt and the insecurities or being unaware and uneducated comes from. What you want to do, even if you've never done it before or you're not used to it, is not impossible. But in order for you to be consistent, you must educate yourself. You have to unlearn and learn information in order for you to be disciplined in these areas. So because you're consistent when you go to work, you're consistent when you go to school, you're consistent when you make time for any and everything else, it's the same thing when it comes to what it is that you're trying to achieve and receive. So when you decide to become consistent in something new, you have to realize the responsibilities that come with it. If you haven't seen already, I made a playlist step by step of the importance of consistency and being successful and what it takes. Being consistent is going to require you to show up even when things are not working out immediately. And because you may not know how long it's going to take, having a desired outcome is not ideal. It's nothing wrong with dreaming. It's nothing wrong with having an imagination. It's nothing wrong with planning and organizing and visualizing what it is that you want, but you have to be practical. And a lot of people like to say just be delusional. I personally don't advise that or suggest that because it's misleading. You don't have to be delusional when you can learn to be practical, when you can focus on the areas where you lack and take what you have, your resources, tools, and information daily and allow yourself to grow gradually. Because consistency is not always immediately, it's important to pace yourself and be present. So when you decide to commit to something, you have to know your why. That is the whole purpose of you being consistent. Sometimes you may not be disciplined in areas where you're unfamiliar. So if you're learning how to ride a bike and you were never exposed onto how to ride a bike, having expectations of being successful or knowing or thinking that you're going to be the best or the greatest can cause failure, can cause lack, can cause, what's the word? I can't think of the word, discouragement, excuse me. And that's what we don't want. So instead of having this specific outcome or this specific desire, accept the fact that you're learning something that you're unfamiliar with. And that's all the consistency is accepting where you are and knowing where you want to be, who you want to become, or where you want to go. If you never rode a bike before, you don't know what to expect. You have to be taught, and that's what consistency is. Doing something, being taught, being educated, being informed daily. And honestly, it could take days, it could take years, it could take months. This is why when we make decisions, you cannot make them impulsively. It's really important that you understand the responsibilities of what it is that you're desiring and what it is that you want to accomplish. So the example of riding a bike, learning to ride a bike can have multiple reasons, and you have to realize being consistent and being successful is based off of you. You get to define what is successful. Not even myself, as your favorite mental health specialist, can tell you what you can and cannot do. So take what resonates, leave the resonate. Take the rest and leave the resonate. Leave what resonates. I said leave the resonates. I said that 3 times. Okay. But anyways, you have to realize that if you don't have a bike or if you don't have somebody to teach you to ride a bike, it may take more time, energy, and effort versus people who have bikes or who have been riding bikes for a long time already. You cannot compare your situation to everybody else because yes, other people are riding bikes or doing the things that you want to do, but it's different for you because you have to learn how to do it for yourself. Just because other people are doing things doesn't mean you're going to have the same outcome or results. So it's really important that when you make a decision, like I said, you're not making it based off of anybody else. You're learning to take your time and realizing that if you want to learn how to ride a bike, and maybe you have to pay for the bike, maybe you have to take a couple of hours on your days off to learn to ride a bike, and that maybe you'll fall down, maybe you have to get a helmet, maybe you have to spend time and energy to do this, that's what you want because this is what you want to experience, whether it's for entertainment or just to learn a new skill or just to be educated. You have to realize that when we make decisions and we're in a rush, or we don't think thoroughly, or we're not practical about how it's going to affect us emotionally, physically, psychologically, financially in our life, the results that come with it, so the consequences. A lot of times we make decisions and we want things to happen immediately. So like I said, if we make a decision and we didn't think it through, now we're struggling and now we're worried about, well, how's this going to get done? Or I don't know what to do, or everybody else is doing this. And that's where, like I said, the confusion, the doubt, the insecurities, becoming envious and comparing yourself to people who are already doing the things that you want to do. Like, becoming consistent is becoming committed. So if you are not in a place where you can make time for yourself and educate yourself and learn and unlearn and strategize and come up with routines and structures and make the necessary changes daily, monthly, or yearly, you don't need to rush to become consistent. If you don't have the resources, if you don't have the tools, if you don't have the support, if you don't have the guidance, you have to realize there's only 24 hours in a day. And when you are responsible for yourself, like a lot of us in this world, it's going to take longer because you don't have the finances, you don't have the resources, you don't have the tools, and you have to start with where you are. Being consistent is a lifestyle. That's what nobody's going to tell you. So if you're somebody who's trying to elevate your life, whether it's financially, emotionally, spiritually, if you grew up in poverty or abuse or trauma and low vibrational energies, and you want to be positive, you want to be financially stable, you want to be emotionally stable, you have to realize everything that you were programmed, everything that you were exposed to, everything that you heard and saw, you have to be able to release. You have to be able to let go. And learning to let go of things that have been installed and you've been exposed to for a long time can take a while, because you have to accept that version of you. You have to accept, you have to validate, you have to communicate, you have to articulate, you have to be okay with not knowing what you know in your past. And this is going to cause you psychologically to go through emotions. This is why, as your favorite mental health specialist, your mental health is connected to your physical health, your financial health, everything, mind, body, spirit, and soul, regardless if you're religious, you believe in God, ancestors, universe, or not. I'm not here to force religion onto people, because you're allowed to do as you please, as long as you're not hurting yourself and others, because I don't condone that. And even with this video, you have to realize that when you make choices, it makes sense to you. And you have to realize that as you are learning to let go of this past version of yourself, you have to be willing to let go of certain people, certain places, certain jobs, certain ways of thinking. That is what consistency is, depending on what it is that you want to experience. You also have to realize that when you're learning to be consistent, if it's going to be a short-term goal or if it's going to be a long-term goal. Like, learning to ride a bike could be a short-term goal, meaning on average it could take from 1 month to maybe 6 months. Once again, that's statistics. You get to decide what is short-term and long-term to you, depending on what it is that you want to learn from riding a bike. Just generally how to ride a bike. Are you trying to learn how to do flips, tricks, all of those good things? You have to realize that being consistent is going to take a lot of your time. It's time consuming. It's not hard. Doesn't have to be difficult. Doesn't have to be challenging. As your favorite mental health specialist, I don't like to stress. I don't like to be overwhelmed. I don't like to complicate things more than what they need to be. Now, that's me, and that's why I'm your mental health specialist. I have the emotional intelligence and the capacity. I've been through enough to educate myself and become aware and realize that there are certain ways in how you can do things. This is why I inform and I speak from experience, because you're not alone, and I've gone through things as well. But what has helped me along my healing journey was to give this information to the people who resonated with it, like you, and let you know that you don't have to make things more complicated. And this is why I make these videos. So therefore, you have the resources and the tools and the guidance that some people don't have, that I had to learn by myself, because everyone in this world is not going to help you. Everyone in this world is not me. Everyone in this world is going to do whatever they want to do. So instead of being mad and upset about not having resources or feeling alone, you have to realize that you being consistent is for you. You showing up for yourself, you becoming disciplined is for you. Like, nobody sometimes is going to be able to hold your hand all day, every day. And that's fine. This doesn't make people bad, but you have to realize it's a lot that comes with it, speaking from experience. It's a lot that I've learned within the past 27 years of my life by myself. And I don't victim myself. I'm not like, boo-hoo, it's me. No, you have to realize that when you decide to commit to something, you have to execute it. And because you don't know how long it's going to take or what it's going to take, you have to let go of the outcome. A lot of people, especially when it comes to content creation, social media, and I'm saying that because I'm on YouTube right now, get discouraged because they don't get certain goals within a certain time. You have to be okay with that. Like, if your goal is to build a house on average, once again, statistically, that's what I go off of when I make these videos. I come with statistics, I come with research, I come with information, and most importantly, I come with facts. Statistically, to build a house on average, it could take 8 to 12 months. And you have to realize that's the same thing when it comes to your goals and your accomplishments. If you're trying to build a house, you have to keep in mind that the weather is going to change, the season's going to change. So let's just say you had a goal to build your house in 9 months, but there was a snowstorm. Wintertime was going to come. Or you were building your house and you're getting everything set up. You got your architect, you got your land. In the summertime, a hurricane came. You have to realize that when you decide to make long-term goals, what comes with it. This is why in every single video up until today, I've been breaking it down the best way that I can, because it's not something you do in a day. Unless you have discipline, unless you have the exposure, unless you have the resources, unless you have the help, the wisdom, the guidance, and the finances, you have to figure this out daily, and you have to continue to show up even on the days that you don't. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. I'm going to end off this video here, but you have to realize you have to pace yourself. Some days may be easier than others, and that's why I said earlier in this video, don't make it stressful. You have to accept what you have control over and what you don't. And when you do, you're not worried about how long it's going to take. You won't be impatient. You won't be impulsive. And you won't worry about other people, places, and things who are not going to be a part of the goal or the result. Me personally, I have grown just like everybody else, but I've had to realize where I'm at right now and where I'm going to be is not going to be in the same place. And anything or anybody who's not contributing into my life has to be removed. Like I said, mindset has to change. Growing, maturing, finances have to change. Like, a lot comes with being consistent. And because we don't make things stressful and complicated, we just have to accept where we are. As long as you are trying to show up for yourself, as long as you're doing what you do, it's going to take time. And you have to realize too, somebody who has run a business for the past couple of years, it takes time. If you want something to last for a long time, think about Walmart and McDonald's. Walmart and McDonald's has been around for a couple of decades. But in order for them to have been running for a couple of decades, it took time for them to establish themselves. Any business that is considered to be successful, or content creators, like, people have been doing these things for a long time. This is why it's really important that when you decide to become your own boss or be an entrepreneur, or you heal yourself or do whatever it is that you want to do, that you are committed. And if you're not committed, or you started and you figure out this is what you don't want to do, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest about how much time you're willing to pour into yourself. I don't think it's hard to run a business. I think it's very time consuming. Same thing with posting these videos. It's time consuming. And you have to be okay with what you have. Like, nobody knows what you go through behind closed doors. Nobody knows what I personally go through every single day. Even the people that were in my life in certain seasons and certain times, they're not in my life now. And they're not going to be in my life later. So you have to realize it's a lot. It's really a lot that comes with it that a lot of people don't talk about. So I'm going to end off this video because I have another video for you to post. And it's almost the end of this month. I'm making this video in November. I think it's only like a week left of November, and then 2024 is going by, boys and girls. So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you're commenting down below, turn on your post notification bell, and subscribe if you are new here and you watch this video all the way to the end. Thank you. Follow me on all social media platforms. They'll be down in the description box below. DM me if you have any questions, as well as booking a session at my website at tygoddessdecember.com for one-on-one appointments and availabilities. When you follow me on social media, I'll be going live on my TikTok and on my Instagram, answering common questions that I get daily, as well as checking you guys's DMs and emails when you go to my website or in my about section here on YouTube. Once we reach our goal on YouTube, I'll be able to go live and interact here. So make sure you guys are commenting and subscribe, and like these videos, share them. Let me know what you think. Let me know if they're resonating with you. If you have any questions as well, or you want me to talk about something, let me know in the comment section, as well as on my social media. Once again, on my Instagram and TikTok, I will post on my story and pull up a poll asking you guys to vote on specific topics, as well as here on YouTube in the community section. But you have to realize being consistent is about being consistent. Your attitude has to change. Your mindset has to change. You have to be willing to show up on days. You have to be able to take each day for what it is. You have to learn how to adapt to certain situations, and you have to be able to let certain people, places, and things go. And you can't worry about who's watching you or who's judging you. I tell you all the time, if people are not financing you, feeding you, or gonna be where you are in a couple years from now, it doesn't matter. I've never cared about anybody in my life who is not contributing in my life, and the people that are meant to be in my life are in my life, and the people who weren't, they were based off of circumstances. And you have to realize that some people are going to be in your life for seasons and circumstances, for lessons, blessings, for you to learn about yourself, for you to learn about them. Learn what you need to learn, for most importantly, and move forward. Apply what you've learned so you can go about your day. Being consistent is a lifestyle, depending on where you're trying to be and what it is that you want to do. And if people are not informing you, educating you, or inspiring you, let them talk. Let them watch, but most importantly, tell them to take notes, okay? Bye.